Hi everyone, this is Bitcoingem. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, we are going to do a comprehensive Bitcoin analysis. We look in the weekly chart, daily chart, and also the 4-hour chart. So make sure you watch the video till the end and do not miss any important analysis. So let's first begin with the weekly chart. Now, when we look at the weekly chart for Bitcoin, this is my personal important levels for Bitcoin. The first important support level for Bitcoin is at around $58,300. And the first important resistance for Bitcoin is at around $72,000. So you can see basically price has been trading in this range. We are looking at a weekly chart. So on the macro level, price, you can say price is basically consolidating after this huge move up. So uh, it is just going sideways when you look at the weekly chart, and you can make a case of it going to consolidate before it goes for the next leg up. Because when you look at weekly, there is no sign of major weakness. Look at this. After this huge impulse move, market needs to reset, needs to digest this entire move, consolidate before its next leg up. So when you look at weekly chart, 58K is the most important weekly support. As long as Bitcoin is consolidating above 58K, it is most likely going to go for the retest of again 72K. And eventually, when it breaks 72K, it will be in the price discovery mode when it comes to weekly chart. So most important support right now is 58K. If at all Bitcoin starts consolidating below 58K, so if we start getting weekly closing below 58K, then I see Bitcoin going to the next weekly important support, which is at around 44K. So as long as 58K is intact, I do not see any reason why it should go to 48K, sorry, 44K. But let's say if we start consolidating below 58K, then I would favor it going for the retest of 44K. Okay. Now, when we come to the weekly bull trend, I have a very clear bull trend marked for me. So you can see this is basically a bull trend for Bitcoin, which started from this bottom. And since then, it is in a massive bull trend. So bull trend is not affected at all when you look at the weekly chart. Let's say it comes down to 44, 45K, then it would be a retest of this bull trend before it starts its next leg up. So when you look at the weekly, this is purely what the charts are telling me. You can do what you want to do. You can, analyze and create your own strategy looking at this chart and understanding my analysis. But what I see is that on the weekly, the bull trend is very, very clearly intact. And even if Bitcoin goes to 44K, its bull trend would not be broken, which it started down here from 15, 16K bottom. Okay, this is the weekly chart. Now let's jump to the daily chart. Now, when we look at the daily chart, you can again very clearly see that it has first tagged my first important support, which is at 58,000. So again, confluencing with the weekly support is also at 58,300. So let's call it 58. Daily support is also at 58. So very important price point. A lot of confluences on the daily too, that this is the support. Wherever price was not coming down over here, but whenever it came down, it saw a huge bounce on the daily chart, and this is a very, very important support. As long as 58K holds, Bitcoin will likely go and retest 65K. But now when we look at daily, 65K is my bull, what do you say, acceleration range. As long as Bitcoin is below 65K, it is technically bearish on the daily. So, of course, these are support, so you don't need to be bearish at support. But this does say that Bitcoin is weakening on the daily. So, for it to resume strength, it needs to start getting daily closing above 65K. Then it will eventually go for the retest of 72K, which is the current major resistance. So 65K was very, very important price, but Bitcoin has lost it and now it's getting bounced from the first important support. So whether this support holds or not, that we'll see. But let's say that if Bitcoin starts consolidating below 58K, then I see it going and retesting down to 51,500, which is the which is the second important support for this bull trend on the daily. So for now, 58K and 51,500, these are two important supports. 65,000 and 72,000, these are two important resistance when we look at Bitcoin on the daily chart. So it needs to start consolidating and again go back and retest this 65K and break it, not retest it as resistance. If it does, then that would again reconfirm the bearish thesis on the daily. Then eventually Bitcoin will look to go for lower prices before resuming up. So it needs to break 65K for good and it needs to start consolidating above it. Eventually, it needs to break 72K for good and start into the price discovery mode. So on the daily, there is definite weakness when it look at the daily chart for Bitcoin, but the bull strength is still there. And given that it holds this 58K support, if it loses 58K, then it's going for the retest of 51,500. Now let's go to 4-hour chart. When you look at 4-hour chart, then you can see again on the 4-hour, 58K is a very important support. So on all time frames, whether you look at 4-hour, 1 day or weekly, 58K is currently very, very important. The next two important supports on the 4-hour are 54K and around 50,500. Okay, basically losing 58, 57K, 50,500 to $52,000 region, because this is really not much support over there. This was just a breakout and this zone was not retested. So if it comes down a quick flush to retest these zones and then again resume, yes. But so on the 4-hour, definitely some wherever you find strength, whether it is 54K, whether it is 50K, that would be areas to long Bitcoin or a good reclaim of 60 to 500. Again, that would be a long trigger for Bitcoin. This currently is a weakness because we need to find some good bounce when it comes to support. This has been a good support, and the weaker the bounce, that tells you that the support is not there as you would have liked or as the bulls would have liked. So it needs a good bounce from this zone. So my two, what do you say, areas to long. How will I long this chart? So I'll either look to Bitcoin to reclaim 60 to 500, and that would be my long trigger, and target would be 66 and 70K region. If Bitcoin goes further down, then I would look for a retest or deviation of either 54 or 50K dollar region, wherever it finds a deviation, successful deviation, reclaim, and then I would look for longs. So even on the 4-hour, 58K right now looks like a very, very important support. And there is definite, what do you say, RSI resets on the 4-hour. So the sellers have exhausted on the 4-hour, but the daily is still looking weak. So if we go to lower 50Ks, then we would look for a bullish divergence on the 4-hour and look to long Bitcoin then. So I hope you find this today's video valuable. I've given you comprehensive analysis on 4-hour, on daily, on the weekly time frame for Bitcoin. Do come back for new videos. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.